Welcome to another episode of the Grateful Gem Podcast. I'm the host, Jasmine Shannelle, and today we are talking about waiting on the sidelines. Stick around because gems are definitely about to be dropped, so get ready. Before I get into this episode, I need everyone listening to this podcast right now to follow the podcast on IG at The Grateful Gem Pod, and also follow me at Jasmine Shannelle. I'll spell everything out and put it in the episode notes. Okay, let's get started. You guys know I'm always excited. So I came up with today's topic because I found myself comparing myself to the progression of other people's lives versus the progression that I feel like I've made. So I have been in a place where I'm not fully really understanding what I'm going through and where I'm getting these feelings from, because I normally tend to just mind my own business and, think for myself that everything happens for a reason. God wouldn't put me here to put more on me than I can bear. But to be honest with you guys, it's been a hard year. 2019 has been a rough year. I feel like I've took 10 steps forward just to take 10 steps backwards. And I feel like as the year is coming to an end, that it's finally molding into something great. And that's where I don't really understand where these feelings come from, because I'm at a point where I'm not upset anymore, and I'm more so disappointed from the progression that I feel like I could have brought for this year versus where I actually am. I feel like I've been striving for the last God knows how many years to try to get myself ahead, and I've been just falling down. And I feel like I have been obeying God and listening to the things that He's telling me to do, but on the downside, I'm still struggling. I'm still falling. I'm still short of that feeling that I once had, when it was, I could do this. And I think that I'm more so at a point where I'm just so disappointed to where I don't even have the energy to go further than where I am now. And now my mindset is just like, well, if it turns around, it turns around. Like, I just don't care. I don't have the energy or the strength to keep going, to get my hopes up. I feel like I've been getting my hopes up just to let myself down. And I don't really think that's a great feeling to have, honestly. And I haven't really communicated that with anybody because I've been trying to internalize what's going on and figure out, why I feel this way. And, it's hard for me because I feel like I have had a season of struggling for a long time. Especially when I moved back from Atlanta. I really didn't see myself having to go through the hoops that I went through. I had to work jobs that I didn't really want to work, but I had to do it because I had bills and I had to make things happen. And I'm thankful, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I'm thankful because it could be worse, but I'm so thankful that I had a job. But for a long time I couldn't find a job, and then when I found a job, it was a part-time job, but I had to get another part-time job, and it sucked because I told myself that year before I moved to Atlanta that I wouldn't be back in this predicament, And I'm not currently in the predicament now. I'm working one job and then doing my business on any spare time that I have, aka right now recording this podcast. Woo woo. So I'm just trying to stay committed and focused to my business, and I think that's another reason why I really wanted to get this message out, because I think that's also been why I haven't been focused on my podcast and uploading, because I don't want to put negative vibes out in the world. But I wanted to get to a point where I could really talk from a place of healing and talk from a place of comfort to let anyone out there know that you're not alone. For people that feel like they've been trying to get ahead time and time again, you're not alone. There's somebody out there with you. And I was really amazed because one of my friends that I just came across of a couple months ago. She texted me today and she was like, I'm sorry I haven't really been in contact. I have to do better with that. And I was like, me too. I just been at a point where I'm trying to stay above water, trying to make sure that, I keep my head on straight. And she's like, yeah, me too. Just trying to not beat myself up for things that I can't really control and give it to God. I'm like, God, it was literally, to see that text message was literally a sigh of relief for me, because it is so hard. It is so hard trying to keep that mindset and trying to not worry about what's going on when there's so much going on around you. And it was really awesome. It was really awesome to hear that somebody else, felt that way. Because I honestly felt like it was just me. I'm like, God, what am I doing? I've been trying to stay focused, trying to read my word. And now I'm in an environment where, with my old job, I was able to listen to my sermons at work, listen to my podcast, listen to the Bible readings. Where now it's like, I literally have to make time for it. Like, it's either I'm going to do it before I go to work, or I'm going to do it on my lunch break, or I'm going to do it when I get off. Between those times, it's really hard because I'm either one, sleep, two, I don't really, when I'm on my break, I try to get my business stuff done. And, I talk to God all the time. I talk to him on my way to work, and I talk to him if I'm going to my car or something, or eating lunch in my car, I pray, but I just feel like it's not the same. I feel like, I'm only getting 5% of the 100% that I was getting, and it's hard trying to balance that, because I've been feeling like there's no point, honestly, just being real with y'all know I keep it real for real. Hey. Y'all know I'm goofy, don't go there. But yeah, so I just feel like 2019 has been a long year, and I'm not ready for it to end so fast, because I don't want to not be able to reap in the ending of this year. I want every moment to count, and I want to be able to look back over next year and look into this year and say, wow, I really came through a lot, because I proclaimed that at the beginning of the year that 2019 was going to be the year that I made a comeback and that I got myself together. And to be honest with you, I feel like I've accomplished that maybe 50%, if that. I'll say 50%, because I'm getting my finances together. I'm trying to stick to my budget. I've gotten a better job. I'm being more committed to my business. Is it as committed as I want to be? No, it's not. Am I saving as much money as I thought I would be saving? No, because I'm trying to catch up on debts and bills and trying to get everything where I can start back paying a month in advance. So and that's another thing, don't give yourself less credit than you deserve. Yeah, I'm not where I want to be when it comes to my goals and the things that I see fit for myself, but I'm not terribly off too. So don't get yourself wound up and set unrealistic goals to where you can't really be excited for the things that are happening, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things in my life right now that's happening that I'm not really paying attention to, because I'm so focused on the things that's not going right. So you have to be able to sit back and say, okay, let me take a deep breath, let me calm down. And I know, trust me, I know it's hard. Like I said, I'm on here because I know that there's other people out there going through this. And I actually listened to a episode the other day when I was at work, because I honestly found a link where I can listen to the podcast episodes that I normally listen to with Tatum, Blessed Boss Love, the Courtney Sanders Show. If you haven't heard those episodes on those podcasts, I really recommend them. They are so uplifting. They're so insightful, because it lets you know that God didn't just call some princess or some queen and bless her. They're random people. They're equals to like us. They're individuals, and God brought them from places that we're feeling, or places where we are right now, or even some of them are going through what we're going through. I was listening to an episode the other day, of a couple of episodes back, not too far from the current season that Tatum is recording, and she was talking about how she just felt lukewarm, or not lukewarm. I'm not gonna say she felt lukewarm, but she said she didn't feel connected to God the way that she normally did, because she was doing a fast and she couldn't stick with it. And I'm like, God, that is how I feel. I feel like, the more things that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get back into the word, trying to stay back. Y'all know I'm a fasting queen. I have not done a fast in God knows how long. And I feel like I don't really want to do fast for information anymore, because I feel like I've gotten all the answers, and I feel like the answers aren't going to change. It's a matter of me being able to be obedient. But then again, I'm like, I don't really know what else to do, because I'm doing everything that God has listed and God has shown me to do, but I'm still getting the run. I feel like I'm still getting the runaround. I feel like things that, it's like you hear people talk about, oh, God told me to do this and I did it and this happened. And not saying that, you do those things for those things, but I do them for obedience, because I know that this is what God is telling me to do. And when I do it, it's like, okay, good, you did that and I do this. Or you did this and that, but can you do this? Like, I just feel like I'm going through hoops and hoops and hoops, and at some point I just ask myself, like, what is going on? Like, why am I going through this? Why am I doing this? And to be honest with you, I don't really understand the reason why these things are happening to me right now. I don't really understand what's going on. But I just pray through it. I pray through the process, and I trust whatever is happening, even if I don't understand it. Even though right now it's cloudy and I'm just feeling so distant from God and distant from, what He's calling me to do. Even though I pray every day and I talk to God like I normally do, I'm not in the Word like I used to be. I'm not listening to my sermons like I could be, and I haven't even been to church, honestly, within the last couple of Sundays. And I know you don't have to go to church to have a relationship with God, but that's just my routine. And I feel like I got off track when I started my new job, because in my last episode, if you haven't heard it, check it out. Get out of this one right now. Press pause. Go back to the last one. You'll hear me talk about it. But I was really overwhelmed with this new job, and I think it was a combination of being overwhelmed and being disappointed, because I really thought that this job was going to be different from what it is. And I don't want to say that in being ungrateful, because it was a great opportunity for me to get ahead with my finances, because there's definitely financial growth here, but I want to be able to be with a company that's going to also grow me. And I feel like it is going to grow me, because I'm going to get more in depth of my finances, and I'm going to be more not humble, but a good steward of the money and the things that I'm having. So I do think it's going to grow me in that aspect, but I feel like the environment is so unorganized, and I feel like there's just things that was painted one way and they're actually a different way, and I feel like they knew that, so they painted this picture. Of course, no corporate America job is perfect. Don't get me wrong, I didn't come here thinking that, this is just gonna be the answer, because no job is perfect. But I figured, hey, with my last job, I like my schedule, and I like everything else about it, so I was, doing a give and take. So I figured, okay, yeah, I don't like my schedule here, it's not that bad, at least I don't have to wake up early in the morning. So I'm like, I can agree to, my schedule, so maybe the environment will be better, maybe the processes will be better. There's always that balance. It's always one or two things that you don't like, but one or two things that you do like. So I can't sit here and say it's the worst, but it's not what I expected, and it's not what it was painted to be. So I just feel like, yeah, it is a step up, but I feel like it's a step down too, because I'm like, I don't really know where I'm going to be going from here, because I prayed, that this would be the last resort for me before I continue to fully do entrepreneurship. I prayed that, this would be the last resort, and that may still be the case. This may just actually be the last stop for me before I actually go 100% into working for myself. I don't know. And that's the part I think that's frustrating me, because it's like, God, I do these things that you tell me to do, and I'm still lost. And I don't know if it's just because I'm just trying to see, like, I feel like maybe I'm going about it like a treasure hunt, like you do step one, you do this and then that. So I don't know if it's just my mindset or what it is, but I just wanted to talk to you guys and let you know that no matter what you're going through, no matter what it looks like, that you can't give up. And I know I've said this a few times, but I feel like not only for myself is this important, but it's also important for you, because you have to be able to remember that God got you. And no matter what you're going through, that He will have the last say. So it may be bad today, but tomorrow you will wake up and have a new mind reset. And you have to want that. You have to want to be able to be renewed and to have that bond with yourself, to know that you can't sit around in your misery. If something is wrong, you have to literally take captive of whatever is wrong and acknowledge that information and try to do better with it. Even if it's a small thing, if it's your job, okay, well, what can I do? How can I change my mindset to where I'm thinking better? I'm thinking positive. Like, yeah, I hate this job, but this job pays my bills, and this isn't permanent, it's temporary. I don't care how long you've been on the job, it's temporary until you decide that you want something different. A lot of people walk into job interviews and they get pressure into accepting the job because they feel like, the job is the asset. But really, what we fail to realize is that we give ourselves less credit than what we deserve. You're the asset to the company, because if they didn't need you, they wouldn't be interviewing you. So when you're in an interview and you're interviewing for these places, you have to remember that you're interviewing them just as well as they're interviewing you. What do they bring to the table in order for you to accept working for this company? If it's not for your business and it's outside of your business and it's for corporate America, you need to ask yourself, okay, is this worth investing in? Because you don't know how long you're going to be there, but while you're there, you want to have some good points to take from that job. And that's honestly, I can say that was something that I looked at too when I did my interview. And I literally asked them questions, what is so good about this company that I should want to work here? What can you tell me about this company that has personally been something for you? And I took that information, I prayed about it, and then I just went about my day. And if they offered me the position, I would pray about it and then accept it. And that was honestly, I felt like that was the right decision. However, like I said, I feel like there's just so many things that was painted in a different way that it clouds how I thought it was going to be. So it's not the terriblest thing, but it's not something that it's easy to get by, because like I said, I'm already in a point of disappointment and feeling down. So that was just like the icing on the cake. And I'm like, oh God, I don't even know how to go about this. So I just want to come on here and tell somebody that regardless of how many steps that you feel like you've taken backwards, don't ever think that God is taking you in a loop, that you're going through hoops, and that you're going in the same circle, because you're not. If he's taking you through this path and you're obeying him and listening to him and you're hearing him, it's for a good reason. Please believe that God will not play games with you. He will be straightforward, and you have to be ready. So whenever you are overwhelmed, whenever you are feeling down, you have to take a step back and look at what God has brought you through. And I have to do that daily, because like I told you, I've been in this funk for a while. If you listen to my last podcast episodes, you will hear me say a million times that I've been in this funk. But it's because I'm not upset, I'm not hurt, I'm just disappointed, because I feel like I'm in 2019 and I feel like I've wasted so many years of my life, and now I'm finally reaping the benefits of being obedient and being a good steward and learning the lessons that God had to show me. And I feel like they could have been avoided had I been paying attention earlier, or had I done things differently. But God has our life planned out, so maybe it would have just been the same way, because this is how God seen it before I even knew what the plan was. So we never know what God's intentions is, but I know that whatever he has planned for you is for you. Don't let nobody, not even yourself, disqualify you from the things that God has promised you, because God will provide. He will be the provider and the sole provider of each and every need. He will meet your accommodations above any prayer and anything that you can ask. So don't ever forget that God got your back, and whatever you're going through, give it to him. And don't give it to him for the moment, but give it to him solely, 100% right then and there. Put it face down and make sure you're face down. Continue to pray, continue to read your Bible, and continue to read your word. And don't compare yourself to other people, because even though it may seem like everybody else is taking 10 million steps forward, and you're going through hoops trying to get a job or a good job, and somebody else applies for a job and they get the job automatically, you never really know what's going on. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, nobody's gonna sit here and 100% tell you the 100% story of the process that they're going through. So just remember that, and don't ever compare yourself to a story that someone else is telling you, because it just might not be the whole truth. And I know that sounds harmful or hurtful, but it's the God honest truth. There's been plenty of times where people have told me stories and then they come back and change the story. So just don't get fooled in thinking that it's peaches and cream in somebody else's life, because you never know, and it's never that. So don't ever be fooled about what's really going on. Be aware of your surroundings, and just whatever somebody tell you, just take it at face value. Be genuinely happy for them, and don't envy them. Be thankful that God was able to provide for them, because their situation could be far more worse than what they're telling you. Just like with you, be real with yourself and only expose what you need to expose. You don't have to tell everybody your business. And a lot of people may not understand that, and that's a lot of things that happen that disqualify us from the blessing that God had for us, because we talk too much, honestly. And I'm laughing because y'all can go back to a few episodes and hear me talk about how I've talked about, my plans and the business ideas that I have for myself. And it has just been a hard process because people don't know how to accept the fact that you're exceeding. They don't know how to accept the fact that you're going to move forward and God has called you to a different place. Most of the time, people don't know how to accept that, and they don't want you to go past what they're going past, especially if they're not in a place where they're happy. So don't ever take somebody else's happiness and mistake that for your own happiness, because they just might be down inside as well as you. So I just want to come on here and encourage somebody to be faithful to your commitment to God, be faithful to your happiness, and change your mindset. Don't ever compare your walk and your weight with someone else's, because God will bless you in a different way from somebody else's. So I hope you were able to take gems from this episode. It's not as long as my other ones, but hope y'all still get the point. I love you. Thank you again for tuning in to another great episode. Hey, I'll be back for some more. Hey, bye y'all. Keep shining as the gems you are, and don't forget to replay this as many times as you need to hear it. Bye.